Welcome everybody to Cinema Royale. I'm Travis Thompson of Punch Drunk Critics, and with joining me today is my homie Chris Bumbray of JellBull.com. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Travis, I'm in a hotel room. My art is usually not quite as gauche as that, the big
Yes,
mural of man's Chinese theaters.
you're in a swanky LA hotel.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Swanky is, I know it's not.
Tomorrow I will be, but the first night I'm on
Probably
my
will
own
be.
dime,
Today
and
you're
but the
not.
first night I'm on my own dime, and it's gonna be bucket shit.
But anyway, on today's show, we are talking
Taking a bike ride.
the bike riders. I know we're taking a bike ride, which I would fall off of. We are talking the bike riders. This is the new film from Jeff Nichols. Can you believe it's been 7 years since he did Loving and Midnight
I
Special in
thought
the
it was
same years?
9. I thought it was 9. It's 9 years.
Is
It's
it, is
nine
it
years.
nine?
Midnight Special and Loving both came out the same year, 2016. 9.
Jesus Christ! You're right. I got my math
Well,
wrong.
no, it's not 9 years. No, that was
No, it
16.
seems
It's
too long.
8 years. 8 years.
Okay. Yeah,
And this was done
it's
in
still
2023, so it's
it's
seven.
still a crazy long time. It doesn't feel like it's been that long since those two movies came out.
I mean, if it hadn't been
Especially
for the
Loving.
pandemic, I feel like he probably would have put something else out. I'm sure it was hard for him to get, funding and stuff.
Yeah, well, this is a movie that he's been wanting to do for a long time, apparently. The Bike Riders, set in the 1960s, 1969 to about 1973. It's based on the true story, captured by Danny Lyons in his uh, magazine series of photographs about the biker culture of that time. And the film stars Tom Hardy, Jodie Comer, uh, Austin Butler, of course, Michael Shannon. He's in every Jeff Nichols movie.
I think he just showed up to hang out on the set, and they were like, I may as well put him in.
Probably did. Loads of people in this movie, and it's about a fledgling biker club that, over the course of time, evolves into something much bigger and something uncontrollable, something closer to a gang. With Tom Hardy's Jimmy leading the group, Austin Butler's Benny as sort of the James Dean rebel that cause, and
It's like I said in my review, if you wanted to know what a movie would have been like starring Marlon Brando and James Dean, this is probably as close as you're going to get because Hardy is 100% channeling Brando and Butler is 100% channeling Dean.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Comer as the biker wife to Benny. And there's sort of a power struggle between the three of them. Tom Hardy's character really wants Benny as his right hand man as he is, and she wants to get Benny out of the life. I'm gonna start off and say just a little bit, and I'm gonna hand it over to you. But I didn't know what to expect from this. I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
I know
Jeff
you weren't
Nichols.
super looking forward to
Not
it,
super
which is
looking forward to it.
opposite. I was really, really
Right.
excited.
You were really hyped, and I was not. For a number of reasons, I just wasn't. It's not the biker culture is not really my thing. I don't
But
really care
you've
about
liked
that
most of his
period.
movies.
I like all of his movies,
Yeah,
but this one just didn't really seem to appeal to me in any kind of a
yeah.
way. But I was surprised. I mean, it really kind of plays like a Goodfellas on two wheels in a lot of ways. Sprawling for a movie that's really kind of personal and small. And I feel like the performances were fantastic across the board. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about Jodie Comer because she feels like she's doing like part Midwest Fargo, part Carmela Soprano, like a little bit of both. And at first, I don't think she was quite nailing the accent the way she wanted to. And then
The
it gets
Illinois
better.
accent.
It
She's
gets better.
probably laying it on a little too
Little
thick and
thick. And then it
eyeballing.
gets better over time, her accent
Or
and
we
she
just get
is
used to it.
really yeah, or get used to it. It's a really great performance from her. All the performances are great. And this movie, I think some of the characters are their storylines play out the way you kind of expect them to, especially Hardy's Jimmy. But I was compelled by every single bit of this, surprisingly. I feel like it's maybe a touch too long. Even though it's just under 2 hours, it feels longer. There may be a couple scenes that stretch on a little bit longer than they need to. Usually in the conversations between Kathy and Danny, played by Mike Faced, who we just saw in Challengers. Um, maybe some of those scenes go a little bit longer than they need to. But otherwise, I was into all of this, surprisingly. I
Yeah,
really, 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 really dug it.
cool. I loved it too. I mean, I was looking forward to it. I wasn't disappointed. I wrote my review. I actually kind of wished it had been longer because I liked being in that world and in that milieu.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm fascinated by
Yeah,
that era.
what a nerd. Use a word like milieu. We
You,
don't use that. We
well,
don't use that sort of
I'm French.
pinko commie language here. Get your smart,
Bingo coffee. You
get that
sound like
stuff out of here.
yeah,
It was funny the way they kept using the word pinko all throughout the movie. It's really
Well,
funny.
I mean, though, I'm fascinated by that era and by those kinds of tales and gangdom in general. I mean, if you look at, if you think about gangs, right? Like regardless of the race or anything like that, there's a negative context around that around that word gang now, right? Which, is because I think people automatically associate with violence with organized crime, and that's certainly what bike culture has become,
Yeah,
and but if you look back at these gangs that were around in the 40s, 50s, 60s, it was people that were downtrodden that came together as families and fought for each other because nobody else would, right? I mean, if
right.
you look at most of the black gangs, as you know, that's what happened, right? It was people that were at each other's backs because nobody else had their backs,
Yeah.
and I
And
think
that's how this group starts. It starts off as
exactly.
basically a group of misfits, a group of guys who don't fit in anywhere. They like bikes, that's all they know, and they like to talk about them, but they don't really fit in anywhere.
In the 50s
And
and
that
60s,
also becomes a problem for them later
yeah.
too, because you get other groups of people who don't really fit in anywhere who start coming
Yeah.
to your group, and that causes
That's
problems.
the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, and it's also the intoxicating power of it, and it's like, that even Tom Hardy's character starts to succumb to, right? But then there's like that old fashioned kind of bravado, in the movie where he's like fists or knives,
Yeah,
and that's like such an old school, the rebel without a cause type way of settling your issues, where back when men were men, and you had to have something to back it up, and now it's just a gun to the head kind of dwarfs that, right?
right.
But I'm fascinated by gang movies, especially older gang movies, right? Like movies about older gangs, and so right off the top of it, I was fascinated by it, and it's something I've been looking forward to for a long time. I think Tom Hardy's great in it. He's always been Brando-esque to the point that it almost becomes parody. But I think if anybody was going to act in this movie, he's the obvious choice. Like it's the role he was born to play to some
Yeah.
extent.
It's
You
funny.
know,
We used to we've used. I think that phrase gets used a lot for Tom Hardy, role he was born to play, for somebody who hasn't really played a real person since Al Capone.
Yeah, no, he hasn't, and he feels more real in this
What
movie.
year
Like
was that?
it's like,
2020? The Capone movie was that 2020?
yeah, yeah, it was fall. Yeah, it was during the pandemic. It was during the summer of the pandemic, that first summer when it was one of the few movies that was coming out that we could talk about. I remember,
It's
but
so rare to see him play somebody who's not a cartoon character in some
well,
kind
he turned Capone into the ultimate cartoon character in that movie,
of.
though. I thought that's why I hated that movie because Al Capone
It's
was a
not a great
real
movie. I
guy.
don't like that movie very
No,
much.
and Al Capone, there's a fascinating story to be told there, and they told the worst possible version of that story that you could.
In
You
an
know,
effort to tell a story that hadn't been told before.
Yeah, and it was god awful, and I think it was Hardy's worst instincts as an actor with a director who didn't really have a good handle on the material. A lot of a
I
perfect
don't even remember
storm.
who the director was.
Josh Trank,
Oh, Jesus
Fantastic Four.
Christ. That's
Yeah,
right. That was his comeback movie after the big
yeah,
blow up
come
after
back.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
Oof.
but it's just one of those
Where's he
things like,
been at? Where's Josh? You just made me start thinking about Josh Trank. Where's
vanished.
he
I
at?
mean, he hasn't been associated with anything else. But the thing about
He'll
Hardy
get,
is,
he'll get a Jurassic World movie or something someday. Like
I
out
think
of
Hardy needs
nowhere.
a I think Hardy needs a good director, somebody that he can really kind of put his faith into. And I think that Nichols is a great director, right?
Marvel should hire Josh Trank to do Blade now that they've lost their director. They should hire Josh Trank to do it.
No, I was trying to think of that Blade who could do Blade. What would be fucking amazing? Hire Stephen Norrington and bring in Wesley Snipes to star.
I
Did you
would
see
I would
Snipes'
I would
tweet?
be I would be on the phone with Antoine Fuqua to do it if that were me.
Fuqua would be amazing.
Yeah.
He's busy with Michael Jackson, but apparently the
Yeah,
Michael
I know,
Jackson.
but the movie's already delayed. I would just wait for him. I would just let him do it.
Fuqua is honestly the no-brainer obvious choice to do that movie though. He knows action. He probably 100% knows the character. Like he's a superhero guy.
Yep.
I mean, like it's weird that he's not in the conversation, to be honest. Maybe he's almost like too big for Marvel. Like they want somebody they could control, but I feel like he would deliver a pretty
Yeah, they'll end up
commercial.
hiring somebody like an F. Gary Gray or somebody, or if he was still alive, they hire John Singleton. That's what the kind of person they're probably looking for now.
Well, Singleton was a big comic book fan though, so
Yeah,
like
I
I
know.
always felt bad that he never got to do like a serious comic book
I also
movie.
think he was a very overrated director, but that's me.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I kind of agree with you, to be honest. Like, I think probably is. I mean, I like Boys in the Hood, but I think that there are other movies from that era about gang
Boys in the
culture.
Hood is compelling because the story was compelling and nobody was telling that story. I don't
Yeah.
think anything that he necessarily did was compelling. But
Like I think I prefer of
we're
those
getting
movies.
off on
I
we're
probably like
getting off on a non-bike riders tangent like we
Ernest
always
Dickerson.
do.
Ernest Dickerson could do Blade.
Who
I
could?
thought he did some awesome movies back in the day.
Who did?
Ernest Dickerson.
Yeah, I could do. I
Yeah.
could see that. I could see that.
People are just
Anyway, we
aging.
were talking about the
Jeff
bike.
Nichols could do Blade.
Yeah. Well, we're
No,
talking
but I
about.
mean, I really enjoyed it getting back to the movie. You know, I mean, even all the small characters though. Like I liked Boyd Holbrook's little bit about him
I
being a
really liked Boyd Holbrook as Cal,
French Canadian. Yeah.
California guy. I
Yeah.
liked it when Norman Reedus showed up as
Reedus was great in it too. His
Funny
fucking
Sonny.
teeth. Yeah,
Yeah, Funny Sonny. And I like the
he's so
little
affable.
revelation. I like the revelation about him that pops up out of
Yeah.
nowhere. And it's like it brings some tension to the thing that you're like, I hope this doesn't pay off the way I think it
You
might.
know, Reedus is really good in it though, because he's a biker in real life. You know, I mean, he
Yeah.
has that kind of authenticity. You know, his teeth are awful, but I mean,
He's got the
he
big
looks
teeth.
like yeah, he looks like maybe he just showed up to like hang out on the set for a day. You know, and
Emery Cohen is good as well.
I
Uh,
didn't realize
Cock-
that was Emery Cohen until after the movie.
Cockroach, yeah, even though I ended up hating his character, Toby Wallace as the kid.
I
Uh,
effectively cast.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. One of those people that as soon as you see him, you know he's trouble type person.
I mean, I liked.
Which is ironic considering you're talking about a gang full of bikers. You don't get the same vibe from them that you do from him. Like the instant you see him, it's like,
Oh, he's just got nothing to lose. That's the thing, right? You know, and it's but I like, you know, Austin Butler, I find also like very movie star. Like, you know, you can't take your eyes off of him when he's on the screen. Like people are saying,
That's the thing. Like
yeah,
I feel like Benny is probably the least developed of the three
he
major
is.
characters. And yet when he's on the screen, you're like staring at him like
That's
all
why
the
he's
time.
so perfect for the role, though, because that's what the character is. And I think
Yeah.
people that are criticizing it for that are kind of missing the point. Like he is this kind of unknowable guy. Like
They
and
spell it out for you. They spell
yeah,
it out. Jimmy spells it out for you. He's the guy that everybody aspires to be. All these guys aspire to be him. You know,
he just doesn't.
they all have this James Dean, Marlon Brando idea of what this is. He's that, and he's not even really trying to be. And that's exactly what they want.
Well, I love the scene where he's like outrunning the cops and then he runs out of gas and he's just waiting for them having a cigarette and he's like laughing to himself about how
Yeah.
ridiculous it is. You know, like that's and nobody could pull that off but him. Like he really does have that movie star James Dean quality. I mean, after watching this, like I just read Heat 2 not long ago,
Mhm.
and like I really hope they cast him in the Val Kilmer role because that's the lead of Heat 2, and he
Yeah.
would be so amazing in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd
I
be
can totally see
perfect.
that.
Oh, he'd be perfect because he looks like him. Even Don Winslow, who just signed him for another movie, wrote
Yeah.
on Twitter the other day, saying, "Oh, he can wait to do my movie because he's so perfect. He looks like Val Kilmer,
I'm really
especially
hoping they signed
Benjamin."
Butler to do the Top Secret remake.
Oh,
That's
I can see him doing it though. It'd be as Elvis. That'd be so funny.
They're showing that again at the Alamo, and I was like, I've never seen Top Secret in a theater.
You know, either I'd love to see that in the theater. I always think
They're
of
going to be
you.
showing it at the Alamo Draft House, I think this month.
I
That's
even give you my best movie I never saw, and I got like 200,000 views, and I mentioned you in it. I'm like, I'm doing this because of Travis Hobson, and it's like because I always think of you when I think of Top Secret.
it is my all-time favorite comedy, and it will stay that
Keep
way.
surfing.
Hello, little German, he's right over there. I was just my favorite line. It's so dumb. Anyway, oh man, but yeah, I was like I said, I was totally surprised by how much I really dug this movie. I'm surprised still now seeing it that that Searchlight let it go in
I don't get it.
2023, let it go and
It
focus.
would have been a big hit for them on streaming at least. Like I don't know how well it'll do for Focus because I feel like Focus just doesn't have the distribution that they used to. But I think that you know, I think Disney had sold it the right way, especially, you know, like it would have been a big movie on streaming probably, you know.
I think they're smart to focus on the star power of it.
Yeah. I hope it does
The bike
well.
culture, look, the bike culture has exploded in this country the last few years. I feel like there's a real discontent And I think like these movies they thrive on the discontent of the people. It's like these cultures do. And I feel like this movie could be a sneaky hit. Maybe not
Yeah.
like a $200 million hit or something, but
An
yeah,
art house hit. Yeah, I
yeah, a
agree.
success, a success. Uh,
My video review of it did really well, which I was surprised by because there was like some talk like does this need a video review? But then our interviews did really well for it, you know, because we managed to get Hardy and I mean it is the Joe Blow perfect Joe Blow movie though, like our audience, and the audience is really into it, really excited about it, and the video review did really well.
I
So
have friends that are excited for it,
yeah, I
and
think so. I
that's how
think
I judge. That's how I gauge things
yeah.
nowadays. Is my friends are they excited for it? They're excited for this movie, so
I mean,
I
it
think
doesn't need to
this
make a
could do
hundred
well.
million dollars either, like to turn a profit, because it's not that expensive of a movie, you know.
Yeah, Jeff Nichols. I mean, he doesn't really do huge movies. I mean, Big Midnight Special is probably the most expensive one he did, right?
I heard though
Before this, before this,
he
what's
wanted to
that?
do Alienation. He wanted to do Alienation. Apparently, that was what he lost a bunch of time doing because he was trying to develop that for Disney, and
I'm kind of
that
glad.
would have been great. Like I could see Michael Shannon as like the newcomer, put him with a cool actor.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that movie didn't happen.
No,
Yeah,
I love the
one,
original
I'm not
though.
really a big fan of Alienation, but two, I don't know, something about it didn't sound right. Like it just didn't seem like it was the right time. I don't know,
Yeah.
didn't feel right. Anyway, The Bike Riders is opening in theaters this week, June 21st.
Was it?
Both Chris and I give it a glowing
What
review.
was the what was the bike movie? The black bike movie with Lawrence Fishburne, Biker
Biker
Boys.
Boys, Biker
Yeah,
Boys with a Z,
I like Biker Boys.
Biker Boys, and then Charm City Kings was based on that.
Well, Charm City Kings was awesome.
Well, Charm City Kings
Uh,
is awesome, which is a
we
shame
watched
you
that.
can't find it on streaming anymore. Early, remember they took it off Max all early.
It's available still in Canada. In Canada, you can still get it on Crave because Crave didn't pull the HBO Max movies
It's such a
they
shame
did
that
like
movie
they did in the
didn't do.
States.
That movie was so good.
Yeah, I know. We remember how surprised we were when we saw it at Sundance. We weren't expecting anything, and then it was like what probably I think both of us is like our favorite movie that year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic, fantastic movie. I like that director too. I hope
Yeah,
he gets
he's a
to
nice
do
guy
more.
too. I met him like a couple months later. He's a cool guy, Angel.
Yeah, I hope he gets to do more. Maybe with James Gunn, since he didn't get to, he's probably not gonna get to do a Blue Beetle sequel or
He's
anything.
doing the Blue Beetle cartoon show, and
Yeah,
they
yeah, the
Cinema
cartoon
has to
thing.
come
But
back.
I like to see what his next movie is going to be. Anyway, The Bike Riders, go see it in theaters. It's great. Both Chris and I say it's great. Go check it out. Chris, you got anything coming up? I know you're in LA for Beverly Hills Cop. Any chance that Eddie Murphy is standing off camera and we just don't see him?
Hey Eddie, want to come say hi? If I interview him, I'm just my whole goal is just to make him laugh once if I can. But I don't know. I feel I'm just afraid. I just hope I don't get starstruck and I end up like
I got an idea for you. You want to know how you can make him laugh? Say,
oh,
hey, can we extend this to 30 minutes?
I was just gonna scream, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie.
He'd probably run the opposite direction if you
Like
did
fuck this shit.
that.
I
Chris
feel like he's gonna
Bumberg
be
just
very low key. Very, I feel like he'll be polite but low key.
yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you do with that interview, with those interviews, and
I have no idea.
if he's ready.
They'll be edited to favor me. That's what I'll say. Edited to make it look like it's a fucking amazing interview.
Right. You gotta splice in some Eddie Murphy laughs from other
Some
interviews, and
music
like
underneath there. You go, boo, 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 boo,
splice in
boo.
some photos of him hugging other bald white people.
Yeah, it's one of my
Look how
favorite.
friendly we are.
Hey, we're best buds. Starring in 48 hours, this 48 hours sequel.
Oh God. Oof. All right. Anyway. All right. So this
I'm
JoeBlow.com, Chris Bumber.
enthusiastic about that idea.
Will you let me wrap up the show, man?
They could do the golden child too. I could be the golden child. It'd be so good.
You could be the Ivory Child, his brother, but you couldn't be
Yeah.
anything else.
You play
All
my dad. He's old enough to be my father.
right. Somebody was asking me yesterday how old Eddie Murphy is. I was like, he's got to
He's
be
born
like,
in 60. He's old. He could be my father, a very young father, but he could be my father.
yeah, yeah. You know what he needs to do? He needs to make a cameo in like Bad Boys 5.
as Axel. They should bring those worlds together.
Yes, yes, a crossover movie.
Yeah, yeah.
What's left to do because all the Bad Boys movies are the same. The only thing they need to do now is bring back Taya Leone too.
I'm always surprised that they haven't done that yet, to be honest. Like,
I
I feel
felt
like
like
maybe
this
this is
one.
saving that.
I was saying I feel like this one was the closest to a Fast and Furious movie than any of them,
Yeah.
especially
I
with the
feel,
way the cast is expanded and it kind of feels like they're bringing in more people and it's kind of becoming like a family. It's starting to
though,
go that way. I feel like Taya Leone is destined to come back and we find out she's been secretly undercover somewhere and
or
she's
like the new
like
police chief.
a
Like, you could have her, she went to fucking police academy and she's their new chief or something. Like, you
right
could say that.
something ridiculous that's
Yeah.
bring her back into their orbit. But I feel like
Gabriel
perfect.
Union, I'm shocked hasn't come back as his sister. But I was trying to think of it because the thing about it was I actually kind of like the new characters in the Bad Boys series though. Like
I like
I like
Vanessa Hudgens.
um, I like the lingerie shot of her. Appreciated that being in
Oh
there.
yeah, I
Um,
appreciate that greatly too.
Alexander Ludwig gets to that's his chick in the movie. I like that
I'm
actually.
sure
That
he
detail.
screwed up those scenes on purpose a few
Yeah,
times.
let's do one more take, one more
I
kissing.
don't think I nailed that one yet, sir. Can we try again?
One more. Well, let's do one more kissing scene. But I like Joseph Scipio is cool in those, and I like when
Yeah.
he like totally flirts with her, and she goes and like and Reggie's fucking cool in the last one. He was great in the last one.
I feel like that was a setup for something for him.
100%. Like because he's such a nerd in the other movies, and then at the end, like it's like he's the most badass of all of them. He's
Right.
the baddest boy.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. All right. All right. Enough about Bad Boys Ride or Die. There'll be a fifth one announced of that
It's
soon.
playing. It's playing in 35 millimeter at Tarantino's theater at the Vista.
That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
That's pretty cool. I would actually go see that again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think I'll get. I don't think I'll get the chance, but I would. Um. Anyway, Bad Boys Ride or Die. That's in theaters too. Go see that also. But see the Bike Riders first. Thank you, Chris Bumbray, JoeBlow.com. Stay on the lookout for his interviews for Beverly Hills Cop. What's it? Axel F. What is with
Axel
that
F.
title?
Axel F. Well, I mean, it's like the single Axel F. That was I have to admit I was driving to the airport this morning. I was because I did park and fly. I was driving to the airport and the whole way over, I just kept listening to the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack. So I was listening to like The Heat Is On, Stir It Up, Axel F, trying to get going, trying to get myself in that right headspace. As I'm going into Beverly Hills tomorrow, I'm gonna be 100% like playing like fucking Beverly Hills Cop music as like
Did you
one of
bring
those like
your jacket, your Axel Foley jacket, and
I
your
wish I was kind of hoping that maybe they give them away. That or like a Mumford PE shirt. That's what the t-shirts you wear. I didn't realize though, Tom Hardy in Venom 2 is wearing a Mumford PD like shirt the entire film. And at one point he's wearing the Axel Foley jacket as well. Apparently he just showed up with that. He's a huge fan and he's like, I want to dress as Axel F.
well, I guess when you're a producer, you can wear anything you want.
I
All
mean,
right, all right.
his manager is directing the next movie or something. So, yeah.
All right, that's it. That is really it for this episode of Cinema Royale. I'm Travis Hobson of PunchDrunkCritics.com. You can find me every day there. And that is Chris Bumbry. You can find him at JoeBlow.com. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.